Hey everyone, welcome back to Probably at Disney and welcome to Disney's Animal Kingdom because today's video is all about one of Disney World's upcoming new attractions, and that is Animal Kingdom's Encanto ride, coming to the park's soon to be realized Tropical America's Land, or as it's also being called, Pueblo Esperanza. What I am looking to share and analyze with you today is information that I expected Disney to share during Destination D23. But since they didn't, and especially now that we know Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA extinction date, which is February 2nd of 2026, by the way, I think it's time we dive into what you haven't heard about Animal Kingdom's Encanto ride. So let's begin with the facts. As already noted, Disney World's first ever Encanto ride is coming to Animal Kingdom's Tropical Americas, which is in the process of replacing Dinoland USA. Encanto is one of the 3 attractions coming to this land, with the others being the Indiana Jones redo of Dinosaur and a new carousel with a hand-carved aesthetic and featuring animals from various Disney properties. Since the Encanto attraction is being built where Dino-Rama and Primeval World once stood, and construction has been ongoing since January of this year, there is speculation that it will open first in 2027, with the Indiana Jones redo of Dinosaur to follow, and in a phased opening, very much like New Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom in 2011 and 2012. We'll see if that proves to be true. Now, Disney has revealed concept art and models of the land and the ride, but little else officially. Still, some information has been trickling out and kind of flying under the radar, from the ride's number of show scenes to its possible ride system, how it's going to fit in Animal Kingdom thematically, what an Encanto star recently said about the attraction, and also where you'll find Bruno. So once again, you're watching Probably at Disney, and today we're covering what you haven't heard about Animal Kingdom's Encanto ride coming to Disney World. Now, I do want to mention that much of the information I'm sharing comes from Touring Plans Len Testa, who I have found to be a very reliable source through the years. He first relayed this information about Encanto in July, which was not that long ago. However, I do want to make sure I clarify that things with Disney projects change all the time. So while something may be true now, that does not mean it's what we end up getting down the road. So just wanted to give that disclaimer. But now that's been addressed, let's get into what you don't know about Encanto. And I'm going to start with the ride's show scenes. The Encanto ride is currently expected to consist of 12 show scenes, as well as being described as a long and detailed attraction. And that is great news because it means guests are going to get a lot of bang for their buck in terms of what they pay for Lightning Lane or their time spent in line. But as for those show scenes specifically, we know that Antonio and his gift of being able to talk to animals is the driving narrative of this ride. And according to Len, his room in Casita with all the animals will be the biggest show scene of the 12. Other show scenes will involve other members of the Madrigal family, such as Isabella, whose room is going to have lots of flowers. There is another show scene involving the weather, and so on. And there was also a mention of the family's relationship with nature. Now, if you're an Animal Kingdom purist, I would be encouraged by this because it sounds like Imagineers aren't only relying on Antonio and his animals to make Encanto work for the park, but they're trying to draw lines between this IP and the natural world as a whole. Because Animal Kingdom isn't just about wildlife, but also geography and culture and nature. So I'm definitely feeling a bit more optimistic about the direction of this attraction, and that Encanto may not be as shoehorned into this park as some Disney fans initially feared. The next reveal has to do with the size. I already mentioned this ride is going to be long, but it's also expected to be large, with the show scenes mentioned reported to have a 40+ foot tall ceilings and the ride itself having a 60,000 square foot footprint. Again, this is all just reported, not confirmed. Now, from what we've seen from the various models of Tropical Americas and Encanto, much of the space appears to be housed inside the hills behind Casita. And to me, this means that Animal Kingdom is going to look very different once this is completed. We're going to get the illusion of terrain in Tropical Americas, and you can actually see a little bit of what that's going to look like here. Also, in regards to that queue, it appears as if it's going to begin outside and then go along the side of Casita, very much like the Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom. Moving right along, Len does not describe Animal Kingdom's Encanto as an e-ticket ride, but more like a D-ticket. And while that may not sound like a good thing, let me explain. This attraction is geared towards families and kids, which is something that Animal Kingdom really needs, but it's unlikely to be on the same level of, say, Flight of Passage or Expedition Everest. In fact, Len described it as being on par with Hollywood Studios' Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway instead of, say, Rise of the Resistance. In fact, he compared this attraction to Runaway Railway as a ride overall. And this really got me thinking that of all the attractions and ride systems at Disney World and even Disneyland, Runaway Railway's projection mapping and how sets and scenes unfold and transform makes the most sense for Encanto. Through this tech, Imagineers can bring Casita to life, they can show how the house interacts with members of the family, and they can showcase the family's magic. Plus, Runaway Railway is trackless and already geared towards kids, just like how Encanto is supposed to be. So moving forward, that's what I think we're getting for this attraction at Animal Kingdom, a 2.0 version of Runaway Railway, and a slightly longer one as, while Encanto is expected to have 12 show scenes, Runaway Railway only has 10. Another reveal, but one that probably shouldn't be, is that this ride is going to have a catchy soundtrack since, of course, Encanto's soundtrack was a huge hit upon its release. Of course, I'm sure it's going to be reworked for the ride, but I would not be surprised if the ride itself follows the soundtrack as a blueprint, with different rooms and show scenes being where we get a sampling of different songs. Furthermore, back in August, Stephanie Beatrice, who was the voice of Mirabelle in Encanto, told TheDirect.com that she will be participating in recording dialogue for the Disney World ride and is very excited about it. And that's also great news because it means there'll be some consistency between the movie and the attraction, and it suggests we could be getting some different lines than what we got in the film. Also, while this isn't a reveal but rather an observation, I have to point out the glowing candle that shines out from Casita. While this is going to look great during the day, it's going to be even more eye-catching at night, and Animal Kingdom has been trying for years to be a nighttime park, and maybe with Dino Land's transformation into Tropical Americas, the park might finally be able to pull off that goal. Also, Lentesta reported that one of the theme details in the queue for Encanto will involve Bruno, and this is just perfect since in the movie he's hiding behind the walls. So guests waiting in line for this ride may possibly be hearing from Bruno before he appears in the ride itself. So there you have it. That is what you probably haven't heard about Disney's upcoming Encanto attraction coming to Animal Kingdom. I was already looking forward to this ride as I love a dark ride and I like the idea of Casita being realized in a Disney park. I also like the idea of Tropical Americas as a theme park land offering two very different adventures for guests, with a musical magical house on one side of this rainforest and a dangerous magical temple on the other. But if these details and reveals prove to be true, I think this ride could be a home run, with the exterior experience of the Haunted Mansion, the ride experience of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and the theming and message of Animal Kingdom. This is definitely a project to watch since it is expected to be the first entirely new original ride set to open at Walt Disney World amidst the company's turbocharged investment of the resort. Yes, Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster is coming first, but that's a reskin, and the same can be said for Indiana Jones's takeover of Dinosaur. The Monsters Inc. door coaster, the Cars attractions, Villains Land attractions, and more, which are also going to be original new rides, they don't have an opening date yet. Encanto is the first. So it's a bit of a bellwether of what Imagineering has in store. But here is the thing. As I kind of referenced earlier, not everyone is happy with the idea of this attraction in Animal Kingdom, and I want to know which side you fall on. Are you on board with Encanto in this park, or do you think it belongs elsewhere? Do you like what you're hearing about this attraction? And do you agree the ride system is likely the same as Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway? Finally, of the two anchoring rides coming to Tropical Americas, are you most excited for this one or Indiana Jones? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know what you think. And if you enjoyed today's video, if you enjoyed Disney Park news and analysis, I would so appreciate if you would hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. But as always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. It really means so much, and I hope you have a magical day.